Welcome to Red Zone DFS Week 14. It's our last week with bye weeks, so the last time we have any speed bumps in the road here. Boys, how you feeling this week?
I feel good. I feel a little confused. Pricing is throwing me off a little bit this week, but I feel good. Last week was a good week. Profits.
Definitely.
I feel like we're hitting our stride here.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a better lay of the land, better read. How you feeling, Jimbo?
I feel pretty good because something weird that I like to do, which is stacking running backs.
This is a family
quarterback. Okay, well, stacking running backs with quarterbacks is something that I like to do, which is something that a lot of people don't do, and I think it's going to be a pretty good spot for that this week. I don't know where your mind was at, Vinny. Clearly, in the sewer. But that's not surprising, really, coming from you.
It's not the worst place to be.
Amen.
It's not.
All right, guys. Just like every other week, we're going to start out with our stacks. We're going to start out with our high quarterbacks, and we're going to do the ones we feel like we can get our best stack options. Talk about some games here. Vinny, since you're feeling confused, I'm going to lead off with you.
All right, that sounds good. Well, up top, I know very clearly what my favorite stack is going to be, and that's going to the Kansas City Chiefs that are starting to find their stride. The challenge with them is obviously they are expensive, but I think they're at home, barring weather, something changing and getting weird. I just like the spot for them. We all know, the Raiders are better on defense this year than they have been in past years, but they're still not good. And Mahomes,
the injury bug is hitting them really hard.
The injuries, and then they've regressed too.
The injuries are brutal, and anytime I can get Jonathan Abram against one of the most elite passing offenses in the game, I'm going to take advantage of that. So I like the Chiefs a lot here. They're just expensive, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. I'm probably going to have multiple ways of stacking this with the big guns up top with Tyreek and Kelsey. Together, I'm going to skinny stack at one apiece, and then I might try to get weird with a few too, and kind of go down and get some of those cheaper guys. So I just like this spot. It's got a very easy bring back with Hunter Renfrow. That's my play.
Yeah, the only thing that gives me any kind of pause on that, and you make a lot of good points, is that the Chiefs defense has been playing really well, and the Raiders offense is falling apart. And I got this weird feeling the game might get out of hand quick. And it's not going to be as a prolific of a day as we want from Mahomes, just because the game won't be going back and forth. That's the only thing giving me pause.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders have played him well, fairly well recently in the last couple of years. And I think they keep it close enough. And this is a huge game for Kansas City, right? Like the Chargers are right on their ass. We're now into the season where we're playing for seedings, right? Kansas City definitely wants to get into that upper echelon and not be, in the 3 or 4 seed, right? So, I'm with you. I could see, if they blow them out, hopefully that just means all those guys hit early,
Right.
So that's
I'm with you, Vinny. I think you're fine. I think that the Chiefs defense, they have been playing well, but I think they're due for a little bit of regression. I mean, they still have a very, very, very poor secondary. And I think that if, hopefully if Darren Waller can play this week, I don't really know what his status is with his sprained knee or whatever he's dealing with, but I like that one, Vinny. If we're going above 7,000, the one I'm going to go to that I think a lot of people are going to go to this week, but now it's going to be kind of wondering, how do you stack it? It's going to be Herbert, right? And leading off, I said, hey, I like to stack running backs with quarterbacks. This is the perfect one. We don't know if Keenan Allen or Mike Williams is going to be able to clear COVID protocol. Mike Williams was a close contact. He was unvaccinated, and then Keenan Allen was vaccinated with the potential false positive. So if those guys don't play, then people are going to be playing Josh Palmer and Guyton and all these other guys where they're looking for some of that value, right? Where I think you can just play Herbert and Eckler, and then maybe that's it. If you want to add one of those other guys, great. Or if Williams is active and Keenan Allen is not. But I think this was going to be somewhere that everyone wanted to go. But now with all these COVID tests, they're going to go, oh man, like there's no great stacking options there. I don't know who to stack. I'm just probably going to stay away from it. That's one where you just stack him and Eckler and then run it back with Saquon, and then that's it. Just literally just call it a day because Jake Fromm is playing this week, and who the hell knows what Jake Fromm is going to do. But I do know he's probably going to dump it off to Saquon a fair amount. So
yeah, and I don't even think you have to necessarily bring it back here. I mean, if you want to just rock Herbert Eckler and just move on, like that's what I'm gonna. I do have Saquon in my player pool, but I don't think you have to do a run back. I think those two alone are going to just throw up monster points, being 100%. Super correlated. So,
well, my stack up high, and it's this whole game because I think this game is going to absolutely shoot out. It's going to be popular, but it's the Bills versus the Bucks. It's in Tampa Bay. We're going to get some good weather. Josh Allen, we didn't get to see really Josh Allen last week in that game. I mean, that game was like you can't really study that game and correlate it to anything else we're going to see in the future. But Josh Allen going against the pass funnel of the Buccaneers defense, their secondary is pathetic. On the other side, you have Tre'Davious White out for the Bills. We didn't get to see the Bills really without Tre'Davious White last week because the Patriots only attempted 3 passes. So the Bills without Tre'Davious White going against Evans on the outside, I really like doing a Josh Allen, Diggs with an Evans, and then finding my spot somewhere else. Even going back to Dawson Knox at tight end, there's a lot of options here to stack with the Bucks. You got Gronk. You can even double tight end with Knox and Gronk.
I like doing that one. I haven't been playing a lot of double tight ends this year so far.
When I've done it, it's worked in the right spots.
I think double tight end, especially in the same game, is going to be so rare.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No one's
so I think Knox, Gronk, Evans, Diggs, Allen, and then you find just cheap guys to scatter in there. That could be a fun one to do. That's an easy cash game stack. If you guys are happen to do that, I know we're a GPP pod, but that's an easy cash game stack.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Let's move back to Vinnie going down.
All right. Going down below 7K.
Below Herbert, yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite stack, honestly, of the week is the Bengals. And Burrow, I'm not too worried about his finger. He had a practice today. He's fine.
No problem.
They're going to shoot him up. He'll be good to go.
You don't need a pinky to throw.
Yeah.
I get you.
But you're going to get mainly Jamar Chase and T. Higgins lined up versus Josh Norman and not Emmanuel Mosley because he's out. And you're going to see him against either Lenore or Ambry Thomas, who has not played really a down at corner this year for the Niners because he's been so bad.
Inactive. He's not hurt, just been inactive. Just
take your pick. I don't know who's going to be on who. They don't really switch sides. They just go left and right. But I absolutely love this stack. Like, I think this game is going to absolutely – and we'll see if the Niners can keep up. Hopefully Debo plays because that will keep things very interesting. But I think – the Bengals are in a smash spot here.
Yeah, the Bengals need to get back to the offense that they were running in the first half of the season that they've somehow forgotten about over the last 4 weeks. But it seems like things are pointing to them wanting to air it out more. Yeah, and getting those guys more involved in positions they should be. So
yeah, and I like Mixon. Obviously, I think the Niners' run defense is better than their pass defense. Fred Warner's going to be back this week. So I always like Mixon. He is getting expensive, so I prefer the passing side here. And then for a bring back, I prefer Debo if he plays. If not, then Kittle becomes obviously the de facto number one guy you have to bring it back with. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in double stacking a whole bunch this week with Burrow. I would prefer to just go Burrow and Chase. And then I'm actually going to prefer to run back with Ayuk. He kind of let everybody down a little bit last week, but he's still just too cheap for how involved he's going to be. And he has now carved out a position independent of whatever Debo is going to do. So just because Debo's healthy, I think a lot of people will go, oh, well, I can't play Ayuk anymore. Well, they do completely different things, right? So when Debo's in the game, they give him the ball, they run the ball to him. They don't throw Debo a ton of passes, right? So Ayuk has kind of solidified himself, and I think, I love Kittle. I was obviously on the pod last week. I called the Kittle spike game. I just loved the spot.
Yeah, good call.
I think that the Bengals are going to do everything possible to limit the amount of touches that Kittle can get. So I'm definitely going to have some of him. I'm not going to be as heavy on Kittle as I was last week, but I think my favorite kind of way to do it is to do Burrow, Chase, and then run back with Kittle and Ayuk, and then go from there. I like Debo, love Debo, just too expensive.
Yeah, I think Ayuk is just, in my opinion, it's a complete GPP flyer. I mean, he could finish with 5 points. He could get 20, but he's just not consistent. Like those other two guys, they will actively force feed the ball.
But that's fine.
Especially
when you're talking about stacks, like stacking is not like a sure thing, right? Like
totally.
We want to go for as much upside as we could possibly get.
Totally.
Let's move on to your next stack you like, Jim.
So, I mean, I think this one's kind of obvious. I mean, it's Russell Wilson. I mean, they've been playing like absolute shit. They played bad last week. I don't even know. DK is dealing with some like knee injury or whatever. Whoever's in there for Russ, I think they're just going to beat the living shit out of Houston. Like, I think that's an easy stack to get to. You could do it with just Lockett. But I like that stack. I think it's something that's going to be a little bit lower owned this week. But I mean, they're playing Houston, and Seattle doesn't really have a running game because they don't really have a running back. They're running Adrian Peterson against the Niners last week, and look, they won. That's great, but I don't know how well that's going to work out.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do this week, it's going to be my hot take at the end. It's D Eskridge in that stack. At 3,200 that we can get really easy with. I was looking at my low guys and I'm already targeting him. So I'm not too high on stacking Seattle, but I really like D Eskridge, a part of that game, to get us some low ownership, low price points.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My next guy I want to talk about, Dak Prescott going against the Washington football team.
Potatoes.
And the big thing is everyone's on the potatoes. Everyone. You turn on any sports network, you turn on Twitter, everyone's all over the potatoes. The reality is the floor is going to fall out from under them eventually. Mm-hmm. Their defense is banged up, and they are playing their ass off right now for Ron Rivera, and you can't look past that. But the Cowboys, I feel like, are playing their asses off too. I feel like they have a really high-energy team, and they have a team where they can easily beat the potatoes this week 38-10.
Yep, they can.
Right. So I think Dak has one of those weeks this week. It's in Washington. I think a lot of people are going to be off of this game because the football team has been so hot, and Dak is just going to light it up. I mean, he throws the ball 40 times a game no matter what. So,
yeah.
And what are the football team really bad at? Deep balls.
Yeah.
CD Lamb, line him up. Gallup, line him up.
I also like I think my favorite receiver to play this week is Amari Cooper. He only played a little bit last week because he's coming off COVID. He was still having some conditioning issues. Like, he's been practicing full all week, and if he's going to be in there, then I mean, he's a guy that I will like. That I think that will go a little bit further under-owned in that stack. So
and you can easily go with on the other side, you can go with McLaurin, right? We always talk about Diggs. He's having an all-pro season, but he takes shots, and McLaurin takes his shots too. Heineke's going to take his shots. There's going to be a lot of randomness going on in this game. Really like Dak going back with McLaurin, even throwing in a McKissick. McKissick's back in practice this week after his concussion, missing last week, so he's going to be fresh. They've been riding They've been riding Gibson a lot, so they're going to be going to McKissick, I think, a little bit more this week in a game that they're down. No Logan Thomas. So, there's a lot of run backs we can do in this game cheaply as well. So I think this is one of my favorite games. Yeah.
Vinny, you got anybody
anyone else?
Way down low that you would stack? I've got one.
He's kind of a one-off, to be honest. I mean, I guess technically I would stack him. I'm playing him, and it pains me to say it, but I may throw a few darts at Cam.
Yes.
The Falcons are just so bad. Coming off a bye week, we know old man Cam needs his rest.
Yep.
Fresh legs. Like, I think this is a good spot for him. 5,400. He's very capable of getting 18 to 22 points, which would be definitely solid enough. He's going to take all the goal line rushes himself.
Yep.
I guess you could go to DJ Moore, if you want to do it, but I'd be totally fine just playing Cam naked and just move on.
I think if you're going to play Cam, I think you have to play DJ Moore. He's going to transition back into that role. Like, I know they have Abdullah, right? But if you looked at the games that they're playing without McCaffrey, they're running DJ Moore on routes out of the backfield near the goal line.
Yeah.
Those short area passes that, he's just a more explosive player than, Amir Abdullah in his like 9th year of, just being a bench riding special teams guy, right? So I think if you're going to play Cam, you got to play DJ Moore just because of the upside that he presents. He's dropped back down in price a little bit, and they're coming off a bye week, and no one is going to play him.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to go completely unowned. And then, you've got the traditional run back again of Cordero Patterson, who looks like he's going to go about 3 to 4% owned this week.
Guys playing both ways, All-American. Just like,
he's their it's the weirdest thing in the world. But look, it's just what's working for them this year. He's their favorite weapon, and he's priced up. No one's going to play him. People would much rather. Tons of people are going to play Antonio Gibson this week, which is fine. I get it. I like it. They're giving him a lot of carries. But Cordero Patterson, I think, could have another one of those big weeks this
easily.
week.
Easy.
It's like, you look at the game logs for him. He had a bad week last week with 12 points. People were like, "Oh man," it's like, okay, well, because he didn't get into the end zone. Week before, he had 30.
Right.
So he falls into the end zone once. He's over 20. So he's a guy. I think that I like that stack option too, Vinny. And you could put some other players in that lineup because it's not a super expensive stack. And I just don't know how much run Chuba Hubbard is going to get. No. I think they're just going to run Cam whenever they get close to the goal line. It's either going to be him or some combination of Cam and DJ Moore.
I agree. Yeah. And playing off that, I'll go with my last stack here, and it's Taysom Hill. Now, No, when you watched him last week, it was pathetic. It was bad. But you got to remember, he going against the Jets this week. He still put up 28 points last week, as horrendous as he looked, because he has the running upside, and he's got Kamara back this week. The stack is easy with Taysom Hill and Kamara. They could easily put up a 40-burger, and those guys are just trading off touchdowns on the goal line. At 5,600, Taysom Hill's going to get you 20 points. Just from his running upside alone. 5,600 is just too cheap. Sean Payton runs the entire offense around on no matter what. I'm not saying I like Taysom Hill as a quarterback because I don't. But as a DFS player, 27 points and one of the most horrific things I've ever seen a quarterback do, that's saying something. Just imagine if he played somewhat decent against, again, the Jets.
Like what's his deal? Like, is he going to hurt his finger again and like not be able to throw the ball and then like?
But to Joey's point, like it's like Cam, like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he still threw it 40 times last week, even with that banged up finger. So again, Peyton is going to run the offense around him. Kamara is going to be in there, which is going to give Taysom Hill a lot more running room. The other team is going to have to be fully aware of Kamara going. I even like playing it with Traquan Smith. So I'm going to have a stack going where I can get New Orleans in there and some of these high-owned stacks we're talking about, like Buffalo or Tampa Bay.
If I do it, I'm not playing a receiver. Like Jim mentioned it with Herbert, I'm going Taysom and Kamara, and I'm just –
No, that's my favorite. But if I'm going to play any receiver, it's going to be Traquan.
Yeah,
he's getting the targets.
I'm not going to play Kamara with Taysom Hill. If I play Taysom Hill, it'll be with a receiver, and that's it. Like, he doesn't check the ball down, and that's where Kamara's like most valuable assets are for me is in the check down game. Like, I don't know.
I think the Jets are just so bad. Like, I think they have to be in play.
Sure,
I just think the whole offense.
I don't think
is those
New Orleans is very good either.
They're not, but Kamara's good. You know what I mean? I mean, his last game, I'm looking here, he had 13 carries and still put up.
I think they're gonna put up points on the Jets early. It's gonna turn into this run show with Kamara and Hill doing RPO and quarterback follows and bootlegs and all this random stuff.
Ingram may not play because of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
If Ingram's out, dude, like then
honestly, even if Ingram's in, Kamara is a full go at practice right now. He's not even carrying injury designation.
I get it. Enough time. But we were saying if they go up big here, Like if Ingram's in, they're going to throttle down Kamara. If there's no one else, they're not going to put Tony Jones Jr. in. Like, you know what I mean?
So, but you cannot ignore Taysom Hill this week. I know watching him as a quarterback, it's tough, but he has got the same exact upside. The same exact upside as Lamar Jackson, and he's 5,600 and Lamar 7,400. And they have the identical, and they have the identical upside in a good matchup. That's all I'm saying. Because when you look at throwing ability, they're the fucking same.
Yeah, I don't want to play Lamar.
If people people are so willing to play Lamar when he's hot, it's like, dude, Taysom at 5,600, you can't even. You
3K less almost. Yeah.
So if there's not any other random guys you want to talk about, Jim, I say we move on to running backs.
Let's go to running back.
Running backs, Jim. I'm going to lead off with you.
So yeah, I mean, if I'm paying up this week, I'm going all Eckler. It's just kind of the no-brainer pick this week. I mean, he's going to be super involved in the passing game. The Giants are absolutely horrendous. It's just one of those things where it's just an easy thing. They're at home this week. He just continues to produce like the new McCaffrey, right? And if I'm going to choose to pay up that much, I think he's worth the extra 400 that Kamara isn't, because of the pass catching ability, especially now with, the receivers in question because of the COVID-19 thing. So it's Eckler for me if I'm paying up this week.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we just touched on Kamara. For me, a lot of it's going to come down to ownership between those two. I think they're both in really good matchups. I think I'll have definitely both, no doubt about it. I mean, the Jets and Giants are neck and neck in the 7th and 8th worst rushing defense in the league. Yeah. So
this week is a week I don't really care what Austin Eckler is going to be owned at. I'm going to play him, and then I'll find ways to get different places.
Shit, there's an opportunity here to play both. If you go Cam naked, you go Eckler, Kamara right off the bat, and then you can build from there. Like, there's ways to do it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think below that, one guy that I have a little bit of interest in because I think the passing game is going to swamp it over is playoff Lenny is just someone that I think you have to consider at this point. Like, he's a focal point of the offense. He's getting like 8 targets a game in the passing game. Like, Buffalo's got to try to stop Brady. Like, he's just an afterthought in that offense, and he's too good to be an afterthought. So
look, and with the Bills having Tre'Davious White out, they're going to have more of that too high safety look, playing the deep balls. Brady's going to take what they give him. He's going to go underneath. Godwin might get another 20 targets this week with playoff Lenny getting all the targets as well, just like last week.
And that's totally fine. And I think the one thing that actually I got onto him a little bit more today, to be honest, is with Tony Pollard out, all I heard today was talk about Zeke. I don't have a lot of interest in Zeke. Like, he just looks like
I'm gonna talk about my player up high here.
Okay, go ahead. But yeah, I like that ownership is going to probably move more to Zeke here, and I'll just gladly pay $100 more for Lenny. So
definitely, Lenny's getting all the hub. When I call this guy's name, he goes, and you guys know it, and it's Nick Chubb. When Joey's got a Chubb for Chubb, Chubb goes off. So
big Chubb guy this week.
Big Chubb guy this week. Going against Baltimore, everyone's scared of Baltimore for no apparent reason. They only gave him like 8 carries 2 weeks ago when they played Baltimore. I think they're regretting that after losing 16-10. I don't even mind double barreling Chubb and Hunt this week. I feel like if the Browns are going to try to win this week, it goes between them two. The whole game is going to ride between Chubb and Hunt. And I just have to hope they're not idiots and don't give him the ball 8 times like 2 weeks ago. But I think it's a great matchup. I think this whole offense is going to run through Chubb for them to have any sort of chance to beat Baltimore. And Baltimore's defense doesn't scare me. Again, they're missing their corners, right? Humphrey's out. People might go to the passing game in that game.
Baltimore's defense is not very good.
No, it's not. To Joey's point, they're missing their DBs, but I can't play Baker.
But if they're missing their DBs too, they're going to have extra support on the back end, which should allow more room. If they want to put 10 in the box with no corners, then sure. But I just don't see that happening. So I see Chubb having a big week this week. He breaks them out every now and again, and I tend to call him correctly. So Chubb up high.
And I like the fact that I'm with you on that. Like, I called it earlier this year when I did it, and if you're going to do it, you're insisting Cleveland's just going to run it 50 times on Sunday. I'll play both Chubb and Hunt because they can both get there.
And that's what we're talking about with the Saints, right? If the whole offense is running through two people, nobody else. That's Austin Hooper might steal a touchdown. That's what I'm scared of. That's all I'm scared of.
Right, but
the whole offense is going through Chubb and Hunt.
You're talking a team's going to run 55 plays on Sunday. They very well may split 20-20 carries. You know what I mean? I think that's what they want to do. They do not want Baker throwing the ball more than 20 times.
Yeah, I know that that's what they want. They don't want to do, but I personally don't think that they're going to be able to do that.
Lamar's been terrible.
Yeah, but I think that the Ravens are going to score enough where the Browns defense hasn't been lighting the world on fire. They've got a good pass rush with Myles Garrett and stuff like that. But
Jesus, I'm looking at Baker's DFS scores the last 5 weeks.
He's so bad, dude.
9, 16.
I honestly
Donovan Peoples-Jones is his top receiver. We'll credit that, but yeah, it's not good.
I like him.
Jarvis Landry's fine,
but he's back this week. He's been hurt,
so I'm with you. It's not going to be a core play of mine. I'll play both of those guys this week. But
I'm just saying. I think Cleveland this week. That's the whole game plan. Again, 16-10 2 weeks ago. I don't think it repeats itself that quickly. I think these teams come out with completely different strategies, totally different game plans. This is going to be a different game than we saw last time, and this might even go high scoring. But I can see Chubb breaking off a couple long ones.
What about down low?
Down low. You guys want to go?
6K and below.
I'm liking Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week, and I never ever say that. It makes me kind of sick. But again, we're talking about the Raiders, and again, it's one of those weird weeks. I can see Clyde stealing touchdowns from Mahomes.
If I'm going to do a split backfield, I'm just going to play Hunt because they're just going to run a lot.
Yeah. I've got zero interest in Helaire. I've got all the interest in Barkley right there. He's going to get sandwiched right in between Helaire because other people I do want to play Helaire. Everyone wants to play Gibson. Gibson's going to be one of the chalk running backs this week. And Saquon Barkley's just kind of sitting right there in a game script where, the Giants are going to have to throw a lot. I'll just take that all day long.
Yeah.
He's like mid to high sixes. If Elijah Mitchell plays, obviously I think you have to consider it just because of the ridiculous amount of volume that he's been getting.
It sounds it's about 90% sure he's out.
Yeah, because he got an MRI today and all this other crazy shit. And so he's not gonna play. I don't have any interest in Jacob, CEH, no. Saquon.
Why can't Melvin Gordon just not play? And Javonte just takes over, but
next year is going to be the year for Javonte. Unfortunately,
it's fine. That's a guy in a split that I will play because, old man Melvin Gordon, I don't know, and they're playing the Lions.
So I know. I just picture people playing him, and Melvin snipes 2 touchdowns, and I just get.
That's fine. The guy in the other guy in that range for me that I have the most interest in is James Robinson.
Talk about a dart throw.
Well, why is it a dart throw?
It's starting
because
publicly,
they've actively benched him.
Well, it's also actively, very publicly coming out about this whole thing with James Robinson not getting carries and Urban Meyer's getting questioned on it.
Yeah,
and he came out looking like an absolute He came out looking like an absolute idiot, saying, well, I don't know. It's up to the running backs coach, I guess. And they're like, dude, you don't know when players are going in.
I hear you. I just trust nothing with Jacksonville. I want zero piece of that team now.
I'm going to play a lot of James Robinson this week for that specific reason. Obviously they're trying to win games, right? But you've got the quarterback coming out and say, hey, he's our most talented offensive player. He needs to be on the field. I think he's going to get a lot of carries this week. I think they're going to go back to try and establish the run a little bit more. Tennessee's just a terrible defense. They're just not very good. And I think he's going to get a good chance at quite a bit of volume this week. And that's a guy that no one is going to want to play for that specific reason that you were just talking about.
Yeah. The only other guy that down low, if you really want to go there, which, even as a Niners fan, I'm really hesitant on doing, but it looks like Jeff Wilson's going to start for the Niners. And
is he, though?
Yeah, he practiced today, and they said he was taking first team reps. It's him, it's Hasty, and then they signed some dude off free agency.
Yeah, so everybody's hurt.
You guys are talking too much about these really average to below average Niner players.
No, I'm talking. I mean, if Jeff Wilson's going to get 15 to 20 carries,
I get it. But if they're all healthy back there, who knows? They're going to share carries.
But they're not healthy. Is the
So Elijah Mitchell got an MRI today.
No, I know.
He's not going to play.
If Hasty plays and the other guy plays.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But he's 4,400. Like he's going to get.
If I'm going down low, we already talked about him, but it's J.D. McKissic at 5,000. Where a week where everyone's going to roll towards Gibson. I'll throw McKissic in there.
I think he's going to miss, Joe.
Yeah,
no, he practiced today.
Limited.
Yeah, but he's come off a concussion. Like if you practice limited, it means you're cleared protocol.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what motivation that they have to stop giving Gibson carries. Like Gibson's obviously fine.
Look, McKissick's last week he played, he got 23 points on 7 carries because he gets catches. It does happen. So,
but I think Gibson, he's absolutely the bell cow there now. 20, 25, 30 carries a game.
No, that's because McKissick's been out too.
Well, yeah, but you're assuming that Dallas is going to blow them out, which I don't think at all is the case. So, I mean, if I'm going to go down and pay 5,000, I'd rather pay 4,400 to get a guaranteed 15 to 20 carries out of Jeff Wilson than 7 carries and hopefully 4 catches from J.D. McKissic.
Yeah.
All right. I think there's more upside there.
That pretty much does it for me.
Yeah. Let's move on to receivers. Any one-offs you guys like that, didn't correlate in a stack?
I'm just siphoning through here. I'm not going to play it as a stack, but I'll have a decent amount of Lockett, which I know Jim talked about with Seattle. But
yeah, I mean, I'm interested in Lockett. I don't know how much Josh Allen I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play quite a bit of Stephon Diggs. They're just expensive to play together. I think I'd probably rather play Brady a little bit. But Diggs is a guy that I'm going to actively try and get into a bunch of my lineups. I think he's got, that really just one of those weeks where he could just kind of go off. So up top, those are kind of my one-off guys.
My one-off guy, again, week in, week out, is Hunter Renfrow at 6,100. There's no one else to throw to. And if Darren Waller does play this week, that makes me like him even more because more people are going to have attention on Waller. So Renfrow is getting the targets. You just have to hope for some red zone, hope for some touchdowns. And the reality is the Raiders are going to be down this week. It's why we're not talking about Josh Jacobs. And
some people are.
Josh Jacobs,
talking about Jacobs.
Look, Josh Jacobs looks – when I watch him play, this is actually the best he looks so far in his career. But there is zero offensive line. Every yard he makes, he's breaking 2 tackles to get a yard. Every time.
He's got to earn that second contract with 8 kids now, 8 different women.
I know, right? So I don't know. Renfro's the guy. They're lining him up in all these different positions. They actively try to get him the ball. He gets the targets, and he's just fun to watch, man. So line me up some Renfrow as a one-off, easy at 6,100.
He's also going to be very highly owned this week.
All right, I got another guy right below that, a couple hundred less, that I fully expect to play this and just hope he scores twice before it blows his hammy. But sounds like they're going to activate, and he practiced today as Julio at 5,400.
No.
He's playing Jacksonville, and he's the only show in town over there. That's just way too cheap for a guy that still could very easily tear Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Hopkins call last week. Hopkins was so cheap; he only got us that 1 touchdown. But
can we talk about that for a second? What was that all about? He's gonna play, and then he didn't come out for the national anthem. And I was like, "What's going on?"
That one dude on Twitter. I called him out. I'm like, you fucking troll.
He didn't come out. That's valid. But he didn't come out because he just didn't want to stand in the shitty weather, apparently.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's continuing to get stretched out or something.
Yeah.
So
treatment.
So I like Julio, but I also like below that Westbrook Ikine at 4,500. I'm playing one of these guys in some lineups because Jacksonville is the scum of the earth. And they have no running game, dude. They have a projected 2017 points.
No one's forcing you to play these guys. So.
I will play guy. I don't care who it is. I'll play Detroit versus Jacksonville.
All right.
So
I want to have a all right, go ahead.
So my main guy, is I'm going back to Brandon Cooks, 5,700.
They got Davis, baby.
Davis Mills. I mean that is he's got the connection with Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
Like that's great news for Brandon Cooks is Davis Mills coming back at 5,700. I'll have him in a lot of lineups.
Yeah, Tyrod knocked Cook's price down the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but thank you. Because now we get him back down below 6,000. He was up around 6,200 before. We got him down here now. I love that price, and I also like the guy right below him with Jerry Jeudy.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Going against the fucking Lions.
I was on Jeudy, dude, and then I took him out because I think he's just at this point more of a really good cash play, safe play, but he just doesn't ever blow up.
No, so that's the offense, and that's Bridgewater.
Well, he's been hurt for
right.
I get it.
It's also Sutton's not doing anything either. Their whole passing game isn't doing anything. But I was thinking about this too because we got the Lions. The Lions are coming off a big victory, right? Huge emotional victory. There is no way in hell the Lions are in this game this week. There's no way they repeat. There's no way this outlier happens again. And I got this weird feeling that Sutton and Jeudy can be some guys this week. Now, I just don't know who. I kind of like Sutton better because Sutton has more big play ability, more red zone ability. Jeudy is going to get you your first downs down the field. I like Sutton better GPP. I like Jeudy better if we're doing cash game. But for some reason, I keep getting drawn to these Denver receivers, and then you look at their stats and you go, what the fuck am I even thinking about?
Well, they also
I want to have that conversation.
They also have Patrick that mixes in. They have Fant there. They have a lot of mouths to feed for an anemic offense.
I just think Bridgewater is kind of like a Derek Carr. He's going to spread it around and take what the defense gives him. And he's going to have 12 different receivers he targets a game, which gives me an issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jeudy is a guy that he's been dominating the target share the last 2 weeks. I just think that he has one of those games. I don't think he has very many of those games this year, right? He's been hurt a lot, but I think he's now feeling really good. I'll take 12 to 15 points from Jeudy at 5,600, and then if he falls into the end zone, now we're talking 20, and then now we're in business. So I mean that's fine for me.
All right.
Yeah, and guys, going with the Buffalo stack, Beasley is 5,000, Emmanuel Sanders is 4,900. We just got to pick the right guys there. But I think
it's not Emmanuel Sanders.
No,
I'm not playing Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, what is going on with that, man? He had that one blow-up game, and then he just melted down.
Yeah, just because 3 catches a game, 5 targets.
He's just old, man. I mean, they're putting Gabe Davis in. He's running fewer routes than Emmanuel Sanders is, but they're putting Gabe Davis in bigger spots, and they're actively looking to throw him the ball. Well,
I never understood why they got Emmanuel Sanders when they had Gabe Davis emerging last season with Cole Beasley in the slot. It didn't really make too much sense to me because I like Gabe Davis a lot.
Well, from what I read is they weren't happy. It was kind of similar to an Ayuk thing with the Niners. They weren't really happy with his off-season program and some of the things that he was doing, and they just didn't think he was putting enough work in. And so they went out and got Emmanuel Sanders because I think they wanted a little bit more depth. But, Emmanuel Sanders, it's week 14, and the dude's tank is just empty, right? He's not even getting any sort of separation. His routes are just not that great.
I hear you.
If I'm going to stack with Allen and Diggs, it's either going to be Beasley or it's going to be Gabe Davis. Emmanuel Sanders is if you have him in a season-long league, you might as well just.
And Cole Beasley, he gets that trust from Josh Allen, right? And that snow game, that catch on the sidelines, he makes these really elite clutch third down catches that quarterbacks just fall in love with and gravitate towards you. So Beasley at 5K. I might like him more than Renfro this week, to be honest, and he's 1,100 cheaper. And I think they have the same kind of. I know Renfro gets more targets, but Beasley could definitely have more of an upside.
100% because you got the pass funnel with Tampa Bay, right? And the Bills aren't great at running the ball anyway. So what do they? I really like that call. Beasley wasn't the guy I was looking at. I was more focusing on Gabe Davis just because he's cheaper. But I think now just you bringing it up and talking through it a little bit, I think he's a guy I have to prioritize, even just playing him by himself too.
Yeah. And the last guy I brought him up a second earlier, is D. Eskridge, 3,200. I was loving this guy before the season started, but Seattle has shown that they have wanted to bring him on slowly. He had a couple injuries in the preseason. Him and Freddie Swain have been splitting in the slot, which has been unfortunate. D. Eskridge is starting to get more and more of playtime, especially now that they know their season is washed. They want to give their rookie more playtime and see what he's got. And like you were saying, Jim, DK's maybe hurt. We're going against Houston. D. Eskridge got his first touchdown of his career last week, and people might go off him because of that. And I'm going on him to double that up this week.
I mean, the bottom of the barrel here?
Yep.
I
went down there, but
I have somebody before we get to the bottom, like the side of the barrel.
All right, go ahead.
Not all the way to the bottom yet.
The crud on the side.
But again, he's going to fit into my Charger stacks if he's healthy, and it's Sterling Shepard. The only thing that concerns me about him is just like, is he going to play a quarter and then just be done? Dude. Or, it's definitely a risk, right? But I think he's a guy that you can go to. And then if you're just looking for a cheap Kansas City receiver and you don't really want to stack that game, I think I called the Kittle spike week last week. I'm going to call the McCole Hardman.
Nope.
No way,
dude.
It's gonna be my bold call of the week.
Dude, they just keep trying to get him involved in the offense, and it's just not working.
So the one thing just to keep in mind, I guess Pringle outsnapped him 7-1 last week.
Yes, and Pringle doesn't even get targets.
That's fine.
One guy that I go ahead, Jim. You can talk up your Hardman play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gut feeling, right? I think that they're going to smash the Raiders, and I think that, Tyreek is going to get his, and they're really going to throttle him back. And I think they're going to use this game because I think that they really need Hardman to be an integral piece of that offense. I think he's got some weird confidence issues going on right now, but I think they're going to use the second half of that game to really get him involved and build his confidence going into the latter half of the season and then the playoffs.
I want this on record. I will not be playing McCole Hardman.
That's fine.
Noted. One guy that you brought him up, you kind of mentioned him in passing there, that I will take some shots on just because Baltimore's defense is so bad at 3,900 is Donovan Peoples-Jones. He is the deep threat there.
One catch for 80 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, he's getting, 4, 5, 6 targets a game.
What is the difference between McCole Hardman and Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Because one actually plays.
Yeah, McCole Hardman's Andy Reid hates him at this point. I think he said, fuck this dude. I don't think they've wasted enough effort on him.
He's gotten 5 targets at least 4 of his last 5 games, and one of those he went for 30 points, which Hardman hasn't come close to sniffing this
Peoples-Jones has that deep threat ability. With McCole Hardman, I think they thought he was going to be like a compliment to Tyreek, and they don't run him past 10 yards.
Well, it's and all Baltimore just lost what's his name, Marlon Humphreys. Dude, they are decimated at corner. Yeah, so I'm just saying, that's a $3,900 if you're going to throw a lob up there. I'll have a few shots, but
it's not too weird.
That's really it.
That's it for me too. We going on to tight ends.
Yep,
Let's do it.
Well, the guys I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to get them out of the way. It's Gronk and Knox. I think Gronk and Knox are my absolute favorites, my go-tos this week. I played Gronk in almost every lineup last week, and he got me my 20 plus like I asked for. So I'll be going right back to that with Knox and sometimes double stacking. Not double stacking, but double barreling the 2 tight ends there. Where are you guys looking?
I don't think a lot of people are going to want to play Travis Kelce because he just really hasn't put up that game this year, right? He had a pretty good spike game earlier in the year. He's really expensive at 7,400, but paying up last week worked. I definitely like Gronk and Knox. Those are guys I'm going to have availability to, but I just, with how bad the Raiders cover tight ends, you have to play Kelce against the Raiders. And if it doesn't work, that's fine, right? But his floor is probably, 15 to 16 points against the Raiders. And he's got that ability, like Kittle showed last week, to spike up into the mid-30s. So I really like him if I don't mind paying up because, like we just mentioned, the wide receivers, there's a lot of cheaper wide receivers that we can play this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like all those guys, and I think the one guy you guys didn't mention that I'll have some one-offs on. He's obviously a focal point. He's wide receiver 1 there is Mark Andrews. Like he's very consistent, 5,900. He's not going to absolutely destroy your bankroll there.
Well, I think he fucked a lot of people last week, including myself.
Yeah,
he had a lot of drops, drops last week, and he's gonna go low owned, and he's gonna get his.
I mean, he's getting 10 targets a game.
Like, he's gonna get his.
Just at the tight end
fall off
at the tight end position. That sucks. I mean, it's just hard to come by that. So I think you got that. I think you can look. I like Knox better, obviously, but I think you can consider Dalton Schultz in that Dallas game if you're going to go there to get a little bit weird. And then if I'm going down low, this really hurts and stings, but there just may not be anywhere else that people miss. Is I'll play a little Jared Cook.
Oh God,
he's 3,200.
I know.
He's a red zone target.
It just makes me want to throw up, and I can't watch that game and then watch him drop three passes
or they throw a touchdown to Donald Parham.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, if he can get,
No, so if I'm going down low into that range, 3,500, if I go that low, it's Gerald Everett. Again, I don't think he's that great, but 6 targets, 9 targets, 4 targets, 8 targets, and his last 4
I
games.
think you're gonna have issues there just simply because watching the Niner game last week, he almost single-handedly handed them the game.
No, I know.
By fumbled the ball twice.
I think you could consider Will Disley if you're gonna do it.
I'm saying they're trying to make Everett a part of the offense. Like they're really heavily trying to make him
the
a part of
matchups
it.
there.
And again, I'm not saying he's great, but at 3,500, getting those kind of targets, just give me 1 touchdown and we're rolling, right?
If we're going down there, if he is healthy and active and he's going to play, I really like Ricky Seals-Jones at 3,600. Logan Thompson's out for the year. They really do utilize the tight end in that offense quite a bit. The Cowboys linebackers, while great, just don't cover the middle of the field, the short area that well. So if I'm going to go down this far to, the dumpster diving territory, I think 3,600 is probably about the lowest I'll go with Ricky Seals-Jones.
All right, let's round out with some defense, and then we'll get on to our hot takes.
Let's do it.
So defense, when we do defense, everyone, we dumpster dive first on defenses. So what do you guys like down low?
Ooh, all right. I'm going for it, dude. I'm a believer. 1 week winning streak. I will be playing some kneecap Dan Campbell's against Teddy B.
Oh yeah, that was mine too.
Okay.
Woo. Yeah.
I mean, 2,400. Denver doesn't have a good offense, so that's what I'm targeting.
Look,
there's not much else to say.
I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say. It's so cheap. All you need is 4 or 5 points out of them. The Denver's also not a team that's going to turn around and blow people out. So you're not really at risk of going into the minus there. I mean, I think you're at a very low risk. I can't really see playing anybody else unless you're going to go all the way up and play the Chargers against the Giants. And I mean, those are the only 2 that I really see.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off. I've been riding the Texans, and they just cut their best defensive player for no reason. They're just actively tanking.
He just fucking called out. He just called out the owner, dude.
What the hell was
he
that?
Didn't. They were just you know what? You're making us somewhat respectable. You're gone.
They need a better draft pick.
So confusing. Well, they don't even have that draft pick, Joe. They fucking traded it. It's Miami.
Amazing.
So
all right, I kind of like a Browns defense this week against Baltimore. Lamar is showing his true colors lately. He just runs around and throws picks and fumbles the ball, and people are taking away his running game at the moment. And I think the playbook is out how to at least limit him and slow him down so he doesn't have these absolute monster games. And if there's a team that knows him well, it's the Browns. I think Myles Garrett is up in his grill this week, and I don't know. I think Browns can get some positive points.
I like it.
Fair enough.
If we're going mid-tier, I have a little bit of interest in the Panthers.
I have a lot of interest in the Panthers.
Falcons suck. Matt Ryan's due. He's good for 1 pick six a game. And David Tepper there is just firing coaches, even though like first year coaches, like that dude is just breathing fire down the building. So these guys are going to be playing.
Panthers defense is nice.
Yeah. I mean, they're fine.
Again, it's a division game. We all know division games go under. This is going to be hard fought, and I think Carolina's defense is what actually brings this thing home. Yeah. So I really like the Carolina defense. 2,100 is too cheap.
Yeah.
Anyone else in this mid tier? I mean, the only other team that I have a little bit of interest in is the Saints, and that's just simply because the Jets are absolutely
because Zach Wilson is.
I mean, I think you could make a case for the Niners simply because if the game goes the way that Kyle Shanahan wants to go, where they run the shit out of the ball. I mean, Joe Burrow's thrown the most interceptions out of any quarterback in the league this year. He is dealing with that pinky issue where, if it's going to be cold, some grip issues on the ball. And look, the Niners defense their secondary has not been great. Their front seven have been getting after the fucking quarterback.
That's what causes turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they've gotten some interceptions based off of their pass rush. Right. So I think that, that might be an interesting one to me. I might play 1 or 2 of them just to see if you could get that spike, 15, 16 point game off of a turnover or something like that.
Teams. Yeah.
I'd love to find a way to get this. I'll probably play the Chargers at least in 1 because there is a shot that Jake Fromm throws like 5 picks.
Yeah. The way I've been doing that is if there's a team that has an expensive defense and I'm going to be stacking that team, I'm telling myself that team's just going to be kicking ass anyway, and I'll just add the defense on rather than like forcing myself to run it back. So I'll play 1 with Saquon, but then I'll also just play 1 without any Giants and then Chargers as well, just to kind of differentiate and like change it up a little bit because, like you said, I mean, it's Jake Fromm and then I guess Neck is the backup. I mean, I
know he's hurt.
Yeah, no.
So he's for sure hurt. So the backup is who?
I'm trying to find
the water boy.
Chart. I'm trying to find.
They might throw Kadarius Toney in at quarterback.
No, it's showing right now is
Joe.
Jake Fromm and then Brian Lewerke.
Ooh, Lewerke from Michigan State. All right, the guy's still alive.
If you can get to the Chargers, do it.
All right. Well, we're talking about Brandon Lewerke, so it is hot take time.
All right, Jake Fromm.
Well, I already said my hot take, but I'll repeat it. It's D. Eskridge gets another touchdown this week.
That's a good one.
It's medium.
I'm gonna go.
He's 3,200, man. That's a hot take.
I'm gonna go. Brandon Cooks has a 25+ point game this week.
Big Cooks
with
game.
The GOAT, Davis Mills, throwing him the ball.
The real neck.
The real neck. The good neck.
The good neck.
Average
neck.
Well, yeah.
I'm looking it up right now. My hot take this week is week 7. He went for 37 points, and I think he tops that this week, and that's Jamar Chase.
Hey,
oh my God!
I think Jamar
Chase.
I think Jamar Chase goes absolutely nuclear.
More than 37. Wow.
Yeah, okay. That guy's been North Pole cold after his little drop interception thing he did last week.
I think he's going to have a good week this week, but more than 37 week. Is.
I just don't think there's anyone remotely close to being able to cover him for the
Chase
Niners.
even said it publicly that he would like to have the ball thrown to him downfield more. Like he said it publicly. It's like, oh shit, okay.
And very well, T. Higgins could do it. But I think it's Chase's due.
No, I think it's one. I definitely agree with you, Vinny. I think it's one of those weeks where everything, is kind of built on parity.
If I gotta imagine they have a code red like in that playbook that if they see that Ambry Thomas is on him, who hasn't taken a corner snap all season, it's just an automatic go route right to him. I can see. What I would do.
I can see Chase having a big game.
So there it is.
All
right, guys. Good luck this week. Follow our winnings. When you do win, make sure you tag us on Twitter. We got tag us at Red Zone DFS, JJ McIntosh, DFS Joey Levine, Vinnie Levine, 29.
Say
And
adios amigo to Joe, who will be out of pocket for a few weeks.
Yeah, Viva la Colombia. But I will be still potting from Colombia, so maybe we'll get some good backgrounds, some good Cartagena backgrounds behind me there in the
from
hotel.
the hills once roamed by one known as Pablo Escobar.
Yes, we should have played the Narcos track as we were talking about this.
I'll try to like loop that in.
Oh man! All right, everyone, make sure you hit the like button, share button, and tell your friends about us. We're growing. The podcast is getting bigger and bigger, and the bigger we get, we can monetize and get you guys more content. So hit that share button, hit that like button, and good luck this week.